Welcome, dear learners. This lecture on multiple orderings of reality has been developed based on the materials available. It has been divided into introduction, various definitions of religion, reality on the concept of God, and what is the purpose of religion, Mahatma Gandhi's views on the realization of God, religion as part of our culture, and the significant role of religion in a society for the discussion purpose. Shall we now go to the topic? Dear learners, as objectives of this lecture, learners will enable to understand what religion is with the help of definitions, to discuss the various views of the reality of religion, to understand the different concepts of religion pertaining to reality with the support of the views expressed by various scholars. The philosophy of religion is the philosophical study of the meaning and nature of religion. It includes analysis of religious concepts, beliefs, terms, arguments, and practices of religious adherents. The scope of much of the work done in the philosophy of religion has been limited to the various theistic religions. More recent work often involves a broader, more global approach, taking into consideration both theistic and non-theistic religious traditions. The range of those engaged in the field of philosophy of religion is broad and diverse and includes philosophers from the analytic and continental traditions, Eastern and Western thinkers, religious believers and agnostics, skeptics and atheists. The philosophy of religion draws on all of the major areas of philosophy as well as other relevant fields, including theology, history, sociology, psychology and the natural sciences. Now, we will look into the various views as well as the definitions of religion given by various scholars. St. Augustine, if you do not ask me what time it is, I know. If you ask me, I do not know. Now, Immanuel Kant, religion is the recognition of all our duties as divine commands. What E.B. Taylor says, belief in spiritual things. Emil Durkheim, a prominent scholar in sociology, what he says is a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things, that is to say, things set apart and forbidden, beliefs and practices that unite into one single moral community called a church or any other organization, all those who adhere to them. James George Fraser says, religion is a propitiation or conciliation of powers superior to man that are believed to direct and control the course of nature and of human life. Now, Rudolf Otto says, religion is that which grows out of and gives expression to experience of the holy in its various aspects. George Bernard Shaw says, there is only one religion, though there are hundreds of versions of it. What Sigmund Freud says, religion is comparable to childhood neurosis. Karl Marx says, religion is the sigh of oppressed creature, a protest against real suffering, the opium of the people, the illusory sun that revolves around man for as long as he does not evolve around himself. Frederick Schleiermacher, what he says that the essence of religion consists in the feeling of absolute dependence. Swami Vivekananda says, in terms of God, there is no God separate from you, no God higher than you, the real you. All the gods are little beings to you, all the ideas of God and Father in heaven are but your own reflection. God himself is your image. God created man after his own image, that is wrong. Man creates God after his own image, that is right. Throughout the universe, we are creating gods after our own image. We create the God and fall down at his feet and worship him, and when this dream comes, we love it. Rabindranath Tagore, God, the great giver, can open the whole universe to our gaze in the narrow space of single land. Every child comes with the message that God is not yet discouraged of man. Dr. Radhakrishnan says, God is the absolute in action, it is God the creator. Clifford Gates, the religion is a system of symbols that acts to establish powerful, persuasive and long lasting moods and motivations in people by formulating conceptions of a general order of existence and clothing these conceptions with such an aura of factuality that the moods and motivations seem uniquely realistic. Livingston says religion and God is that system of activities and beliefs directed toward that which is perceived to be sacred, value and transforming power. Smith says, wherever people live, whenever they live, they find themselves faced with three inescapable problems: how to win food and shelter from their natural environment, the problem nature possesses, and how to get along with one another, the social problem, and how to relate themselves to the total scheme of things, the religious problems. If this third issue seems less important than the two others, we should remind ourselves that religious artifacts are the oldest that archaeologists have discovered. Reality and the concept of God. A major theme among philosophers of religion in the West has been that of God, including questions about the nature and existence of God, challenges to the existence of God, language about God, and so on. Within every major religion is a belief about a transcendent reality underlying the natural physical world. From its beginnings, the philosophy of religion has been concerned with reflecting on, as far as possible, how religions might understand ultimate reality. How do the various religions conceptualize reality differently, especially between Eastern and Western religions? In Western religion, primarily the three religions of Abrahamic descent, means Judaism, Christianity and Islam, the ultimate reality is conceived of and described in terms of a personal God who is the creator and sustainer of all and perfect in every respect. Many other properties are commonly attributed to God as well, including omniscience, omnipotence and immutability. In much of Eastern religion, including Buddhism, Taoism and the Advaita Vedanta school of Hinduism, ultimate reality is understood quite differently. It is not a personal creator God, but an absolute state of being. It cannot be described by a set of attributes such as omniscience or omnipotence, for it is undifferentiated absolute reality. Taoists refer to it as the Tao. Hindus refer to it as Brahman. And for Buddhists, the name varies and includes Shunyata and Nirvana. These different conceptions of ultimate reality bring with them distinct understanding of other significant issues as well, such as salvation or liberation, life after death and evil and suffering, among others. According to John Schellenberg's view of ultimism, the best one can do from a religious perspective is to have faith that there exists a metaphysically and axiologically ultimate reality, and that from this reality an ultimate good can be attained. What is the purpose of religion? Religion can serve a wide range of purpose. Religion can be a source of comfort and guidance. It can provide a basis for moral beliefs and behaviors. It can also provide a sense of community and connection to tradition. Some research even suggests that it may affect health. The impact of religion on health and life expectancy has always been a tricky area of research. It seems to be more that religious people, defined here as people who attend religious service regularly, seems to be healthier than those who don't attend. This has led to a line of research looking into the impact of religion on health to determine what, if any, positive benefit religion could have on life expectancy. This research is tricky, however, because of several factors that are difficult to control, including people who attend religious service may simply be healthier than those who cannot. The benefits may have some more to do with social contact than religion itself. Certain religions may encourage healthy behaviors. Mahatma Gandhi's view on the realization of God. Man has an insatiable thirst for God. Consequently, he feels the urge to realize God through the means propagated by his religion. Gandhi too says man's ultimate aim is the realization of God, and all his activities, social, political, and religious, have been guided by the ultimate aim of the vision of God. To realize God is to see Him in all that lives, that is, to realize our oneness with all creations. In the critical moments of one's life, we have a glimpse of God, a vision of Him who is guiding every one of our steps in life. He himself testifies to the fact that as the days pass, he feels this living presence in every fiber of my veins. So many events happen that without the realization of that presence shake me to the very foundation. Thus, he felt the indwelling presence of God within himself. He explicitly states the characteristics of a real seeker of God in the following aspects. A real seeker of God should be purified by prayer and always be prepared to share the suffering of men, whoever they may be. This noble idea will have no influence unless one is convinced of the existence of the soul distinct from the body and permanent. This recognition must not just be an intellectual idea, it must be a living faith. As St. Augustine said, "My soul does not rest until it rests in thee." Gandhi also says, "Soul is utterly restless until it has found itself, knows its maker, and appreciates the true correspondence between the maker and itself." While quoting Gandhi, Aloysius Rego says, "As gold is tried in the furnace, so is the man who is devoted to God tried in tribulation and suffering. He, however, does not forsake us in our miseries, but gives us the strength to prove our mettle in the midst of adversities." In all the vicissitudes of life, we must be convinced that God's protecting hand and love shield us. Created in His own image and likeness, we can find, like Mahatma Gandhi, true peace in Him and strive with might and main to reflect His attributes in our lives. According to Gandhi, a religionist must be free from all impure and sexual thoughts in mind and heart. One can realize God's grace through complete self-surrender and ceaseless communion with Him. A man realizes the Supreme by becoming absolutely free from likes and dislikes and never otherwise. He adds that realization is a matter of experience but does not lend itself to description in any language. Gandhi was endeavoring to see God through the service of humanity because he recognized the presence of God in every man. Man's highest endeavor lies in trying to find God. He cannot be found in temples, idols, or places of worship by man's hand, nor can he be found in abstinence. God can be found only through love, not earthly but divine. He discovered that if he was not to realize God, he had to obey the law of love even at the cost of his life. God is to be realized in one's own heart. He believed firmly that the man's realize God not in abstract things but in the factory, the home, in schools and colleges, in villages and towns as one lives and begins to move towards the realization of the absolute. He could visualize this truth as the essential insight of his religion. A joy springs out of communion with the divine. The realization is proved not by extraneous evidence but by the transformed conduct and character of those who have felt the presence of God within. Religion as part of our culture. The religion is man's inability to cope up with the immensity of God. Arnold Joseph Toynbee, rain falling in different parts of the world flows through thousands of channels to reach the ocean, and so two religions, the theologies, which all come from man's earning for meaning, flow in 1,000 ways, fertilizing many fields, refreshing tired people, and at last reaching the ocean. Satya Sai Baba, one way of looking at religion is as part of culture through socially learned behavior. Culture can be defined as learned, shared, patterned behavior as reflected in technology and tools. Social organizations including economic, political, religious, media, educational and family organizations and ideas. In this way, religion is shared by a group of people, learned and passed down from one generation to the next, and is clearly reflected in both religious organizations and beliefs. Socialization is the process through which culture is learned, including our religious beliefs and practices. The agents or institutions of socialization include language, a factor individuals are often at least conscious of. Politics, economics, religion, education, family and the media. While anthropologists have often studied one culture, including its institutions, in depth, others have undertaken cross-cultural comparative studies. While cross-cultural studies deal with comparing some aspects of life, such as religious institutions and beliefs, from one culture to another, intercultural communication deals with the dynamic interaction patterns that emerge when people from two or more different cultures, including religions, come together to interact, communicate and dialogue or negotiate with each other. There are general principles of intercultural communication. There are also studies of particular cultures interacting based on the belief that when people from any two specific different cultures come together to interact with each other, they will create their own dynamic interaction process based on the underlying values of both groups, just as any two individuals will also create their own dynamic interaction process. A significant problem with organized religion and belief as this relates to peace and conflict is that individuals and groups often confuse the map their socially learned versions of reality, culture or religion with the territory or ultimate reality as elaborated as in the following manner. Thus, the people believe that their personal or subjective version of reality or religion is valid, while other views are invalid. Instead, it can be argued that the many maps are different but possibly equally valid interpretations and attempts to understand the same underlying reality or territory. The significant role of religion in a society. Religion gives meaning and purpose to life. Many things in life are difficult to understand. That was certainly true, as we have seen in prehistoric times. But even in today's highly scientific age, much of life and death remains a mystery, and religious faith and belief help many people make sense of the things science cannot tell us. Religion reinforces social unity and stability. This was one of Durkheim's most important insights. Religion strengthens social stability in at least two ways. First, it gives people a common set of beliefs and is thus an important agent of socialization. Second, the communal practice of religion, as in houses of worship, brings people together physically, facilitates their communication and other social interaction, and thus strengthens their social bonds. religion is an agent of social control and thus strengthens social order. Religion teaches people moral behavior and thus helps them learn how to be good members of the society. Religion promotes greater psychological and physical well-being. Religious faith and practice can enhance psychological well-being by being a source of comfort to people in times of distress and by enhancing their social interaction with others in places of worship. Religion may motivate people to work for positive social change. Religions offer explanations for the reason for our existence, guidance on how we should live our lives, clarifications on what drives human behavior, as well as explanations about the natural world. In short, it seems that religions can offer us a huge amount of knowledge, and that exactly can explain their attraction. The scope of the knowledge they offer seems quite expansive at first sight. Religious knowledge may even give purpose to our lives. Some people believe that religions can offer answers to almost everything, and that religions are the one and only knowledge map that we should understand and possess. However, the true extent of this scope will depend on the perspective and whether or not bias or accept the knowledge a religion proposes. In reality, the relationship between believers and the knowledge offered by their religions is complex and incredibly varied. Some people will resort to religions to merely fulfill a psychological need, others to offer guidance regarding the bigger questions in life, perhaps in times of helplessness. Some believers may find answers to scientific questions within religions, whereas other people look at religion for definitive moral guidelines through which to live their lives. It is important to analyze and examine how religions can offer us knowledge, as well as the extent to which this might or might not be possible. Dear learners, to be religious is not to assent to particular propositions or assertions, though assent to beliefs follows from the fact that one is religious. The devils also believe, but it would be odd to describe them as religious. Instead, to be religious is to recognize, to reverence the sacred, and to live in a world in which the contents, including beliefs, are ordered by the sacred. For religious people, the sacred is the real, and the real is manifest in symbolic order. The sacred is the order of things as a whole, and religion gives as that order. Despite the wide variety of supernatural beliefs found in cultures around the world, most belief systems do share some common elements. This belief could include a god or gods, but this is not a requirement. Rituals may be oriented toward the supernatural, such as a ritual designed to please the gods, but at the same time, they address the needs of individuals or the community as a whole. Dear learners, so far we have discussed the core idea of multiple orderings of reality with some examples and some views by the scholars. We have dealt with this topic with various definitions of religion, reality on the concept of God, and what is the purpose of religion, Mahatma Gandhi's views on the realization of God, religion as part of our culture, and the significant role of religion in a society for a deeper understanding. I hope you all have enjoyed this session, and it may have enriched your knowledge on multiple orderings of reality, in particularly the religion part. Dear learners, we will meet in another schedule. Thank you and all the best.